just in case we are going live, and yes, it says that we are live over there on the channel. So, welcome
Yes, it does.
everyone to our Basic Foundations of Card Making Craft Along. We have got it right this week, and first go, like we need brownie points for that. We physically.
You you get the kudos for that. Hopefully we're on both
It
YouTube.
says I'm streaming on yours. It says I'm streaming on mine. So
Yay.
yay, give a big thumbs up to that. So welcome everyone. When you get the notification that we've gone live, jump on. Zen is here. Welcome. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Rose and I go live at the last Friday, or my last Friday of the month, Rose's last Thursday of the month, with our Basic Foundations of Card Making group. So our members get to join us via the Zoom, and you guys get to actually have the fun here and see a sneak peek of what we do each month. So we have been working with blending brushes this month. So all of our members received a pack of blending brushes, and we have been creating cards and showing them tips and tricks on how to use their blending brushes in their crafting. So we have, yay, we have Zana, we have Maureen, we have Karen, Vicky, welcome, Margaret, Matthew, lovely to see you. Karen, do you know Karen DeVoe from New York?
Karen, Karen is one of my team members.
Well, there you go.
Hello,
Karen's
Karen.
she's watching, so welcome. So we are going to show you tips and tricks. Now we haven't spoke. Who's going to go first today?
I think you went first last time, so I will do it this time. We always, yeah, maybe we'll just keep that flow going.
I couldn't remember. I was like, oh, and Zena's at the hospital in her hospital bed. So she's like, shh, from my hospital bed. So I
Okay,
hope
well,
you're doing well,
put it on
Zena.
me. I hope she's doing well. So, yes, thank you all for joining. One thing I want to mention, if this is running on both YouTubes, don't forget to subscribe to both Donna and my channel. It really does help us as demonstrators, and it'll be a lot easier to find us when we get moved up that food chain. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up.
Now,
All
also
right.
too, if anyone wants to join our Basic Foundations of Card Making, if you want to be in our Basic Foundations of Card Making for the month of October, which we are actually going to do embossing, heat embossing. So that's a bit of a sneak peek for the members. They don't know that yet. Rose and I have discussed that, but
Right.
we're going to be doing heat embossing next month. So if you want to join, it is in the description of this YouTube video. So on Rose's description, it should be in hers. It's also in mine. If you live in the US, you join with Rose. If you live in Australia, you join with me. If you're an international viewer, you pick one of us and you can actually join and get the online content only, so you won't get the product. So the links are in the description because we actually have it working well. Yeah, unable to join the Zoom meeting. Okay, so Daryl's got a reason why he can't join our Zoom meeting, but anyway, all good. So Rose is going to go first. So I'm actually going to remove my spotlight. Then I'm going to
Yes.
try and do the spotlight for that.
That,
Okay.
whoop.
And I need to go. Yeah, no, they seen you big deal. That was,
There we go. There we go.
but I'm going to remove that one so we just have your desk. Uh,
Yes,
oh
definitely.
God, I nearly removed you as a member.
There
That
we go. No, don't remove me.
no.
Okay, I apologize. You can see my laptop because I am working here um, on my crafting desk. Okay, so what I'm going to be using, and let me just show you this. And I'm looking straight ahead here, thinking I'm looking at my switcher screen. The Snowy Delights. Now, the Snowy Delights has dies and stamps, of course, and it also has these masks, which are great for blending. I think there's 5 of them or 4 of them. So when you use the blending brushes with the masks, what you do is you just layer them according to the numbers, and you get something like this. Okay, Donna's going to show you more of that. So you would lay one down here, you color it with the blending brush, and then you might use another color or the same color, just a little heavy-handed, make it a little darker. But what I did a card with that the other day. Let me just show you. So this is something you know, this is using blending brushes and using those masks. Come out pretty. But what I
Vicky's
wanted to
asking, can
show
you
you,
zoom in a little bit? But no, Vicky, we can't. It's too hard for, yeah. So there you go. Rose is holding it up higher for you.
I hope that's better. Yeah, because I'm down. I apologize for that. It's set up for my live tomorrow morning, and if I mess with this, it'll take me forever. So I'll bring it back up so you can see it. So that is with the masks. Now I want to show you two other cards right here. And the reason I'm showing you those are these little snowflakes were from the dies. So let me, and there's a method to my madness, trust me. Okay. There are some dies wherever they are. I think it might be these, not the Snowy Delights. It might be the other one. But anyway, one of the other snowflakes. So I cut out those with dies. And you can see this is also the Silent Snowfall embossed paper. And again, I just took a blending brush and gave it some blue. It's actually white. This is going to make sense in 1 second. So here are my snowflakes. So here is that paper or velvet, okay, that I cut all those snowflakes out with. But I'm going to use that as a mask today. And we are going to bring in, somewhere is my paper trimmer. There we go. Add it on the other table. I got classes going galore. So I'm going to take my thick white and I'm going to cut that in half. And then I am going to score that in half. And it's going to, you know me, I love my white on white cards. And that is my base. I'm going to grab my bone folder and give it a nice crisp edge. And I'm going to switch this and just take my basic white, regular white, that's the thick. And I'm going to cut that down to our template size. Now, our templates are something that you get when you join the group. So if you're watching me, it's the black template size. And the reason we say black template size is because or in the US, our measurements are different than Australia. So you don't have to know the measurements. You just have to know the color of the template that you're using. I'm going to move that out of the way. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blending brush and I'm using my Balmy Blue. I'm going to grab a piece of paper here. So this is the fluffy side or the velvet side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that over. I used that. I cut out all those beautiful snowflakes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use this as a mask. You can glue it down if you want. I'm going to try to just maybe just put a little border here so it stays in place. Now you take your blending brush, tap it off a little bit. You don't want that big blob of blue. You can always add more. And very gently, just add some color. And I didn't tap that one off, but you can do this with any dies. This one, I'm going to have to move it in a minute because I don't want all those big ones. But let me just show you. I get those beautiful snowflakes. Now I'm going to move it around a little bit because maybe I want this one right here. And then I want some smaller ones. So let me add a couple small ones. I'll add a small one right here. I'm going to hold it right here because I don't want to get that smudge, which I might get anyway, but I'd rather get it on my fingernails than my paper. And maybe another small one right here. Now I can go back in and make these darker if I want, but I don't want to. I'm just going to leave them like that for now. And I've got these beautiful little snowflakes. Now you see I got a couple little marks here, but that's not a problem because I can put this right over that mark and add a half a snowflake down here if I want. So you get this really nice little image of these little snowflakes using your template or mask of where you've used the dyes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this up and I'm just going to add some blue here. And you can do it this way if you want, if you're in a hurry. It doesn't look like anything right now, but when you put it next to that white, you're going to see it. Okay. Now, when I put it next to it, you can just see that faint little blue line there. I am then going to take some of this balmy blue. I think I want these over here because this is going to get covered up a little bit. I'm using my stamp and seal. This is just the way I know I don't need to use all of that because I'm going to use dimensionals, but I'm going to wrap that ribbon around here. And then I'm going to grab my dimensionals. And my take your pick tool. You know we need the take your pick tool. Whenever I put ribbon down, I put the stamp and seal there, but I also put a dimensional on that just to give it a little extra adhesive so the ribbon doesn't pop out from your card. My little trick here, grabbing all those little guys. Okay. I am then going to layer that right on top. Just makes a nice little background. Let's see, I didn't take a stamp out. So let's take a stamp out. And hopefully I have a block over here. You can see I wasn't very prepared. I'm going to use a winter wish for snowy delights. Let's use that one. One thing I also want to mention, I don't know if that one's going to fit. I might need a bigger block. Well, we'll make it fit. Maybe. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's a little trick for you. You got this block. It's not long enough. So just angle your stamp like that, and it fits on there. I do want to mention one thing about the velvet paper. You can stamp on this. You can actually, I'm just going to use this, but you can stamp on this and then just heat emboss it and it won't smear. Just an added little trick for you today. Let me grab my piece of white, another piece of white here. And I am going to stamp. I hope my head isn't in the way. Didn't like the way that came out. There we go. And I'm going to do a no-no and use my ribbon scissors for cutting since my paper snips are not here. I'm going to put that over that big spot right there so maybe you can see it. I'll bring it closer up in a minute. I'm just going to trim this off, trying to get it straight. I should use my paper trimmer. I'm going to add that right there with dimensionals. Quick and easy, but look how beautiful those snowflakes look when you use that as a mask. And I'll put that with my stamp set and I'll keep it there. So if I have a little thing that I don't want anybody to see, maybe I'll hide it like that. I'm going to then take my ribbon and I'm going to tie a bow. Now my bows, I do the bunny ears and I loop that over. There's the two ears and there's the tails, and I just pull them until I get the bow that I want.
I always thought you did your bows different to me, but you did them the same.
Yep. No,
Now that I've just
I
watched you in detail, I'm like, that's how I do them.
no. Yeah, that's how I always do them. And then you can play around with it, which is what I like. Um, you can get it as small. I don't know why lately I've been into like tiny bows. I'm trying to get them real tiny. Sometimes they just look so nice. And then other times I make these large bows, depending on the ribbon. There, that's a
I
good
think
size
also
right
too, when you've got a large ribbon, it's actually nice to make a large ribbon into a tiny bow. Like
there. Oh, absolutely.
I was using the shaded spruce gold edged ribbon and making
Uh-huh.
it into a smaller bow, and it looked beautiful. It gives you this gorgeous puffy, like really rounded, puffy, beautiful bow.
Yeah, you're right, it does. Now I'm going to take this and you can use glue dots. I tend to use my Stampin' Seal, but glue dots work also. I'm going to add that little bow right there. There's nothing that says it has to be in the middle of your card, okay? And then let's see. I have these frosted dots. Now, I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring it up. I will bring the card up, everybody. There's some blue. I could do the clear, which are kind of like a holographic, but I'm going to use the blue. And I'm just going to add a couple little gems. And if you watch me, you know I always like to put one on the sentiment. And then for the inside, because I didn't have another block over here, I'll show you another little trick I do. And I'm sure everybody does this. I'm sure I'm not the only one who does this. I'm going to take that same block and just use the other side. I do this all the time. And I'm just going to add some snowflakes around the bottom. And this is where I would put my sentiment, which I'm not going to put a sentiment in there. Sometimes I leave the sentiments or the cards blank until I'm going to use them. So there you have how to use your template or your die cuts. Don't throw these out. You can use those with the blending brushes and make your own little background. I will show you another one that I did. Same idea, but I used it with the balmy blue background. So let me
Very
bring
pretty
those up
cards.
for those of you
I
that
actually don't
look
even
at this.
have this set now, but you've just sold me on it. I mean, I love snowflakes, but I got
Oh
the
yeah.
Delicate Pines bundle instead with the snowflake there. So, but
Well,
this
I'll
one's
tell you,
gorgeous.
Donna, I must be on a snowflake kick because I did the Snowy Delights. I forgot the other ones, something snowy, snowfall kisses, snowflake kisses. And Delicate Pines is what I'm using tomorrow.
Yeah,
And they've got snowflakes. So I do love my snowflakes.
yeah,
So, and let me
gorgeous.
just take a look at something here. Let me just, my snowflakes are all over the place, but look at these snowflakes. I mean, they're just beautiful. They're
Yeah,
just
very
beautiful.
nice. Yeah.
Anyway,
It will
and for this
definitely
one, huh?
it will definitely be on my shopping list,
Yeah,
my next order.
I love them. And don't think, Christmas is only, a month and then, I do birthday cards for the winter with the snowflakes.
Yeah,
I love to use snowflakes for birthday cards. And
yeah.
again, that is using just the cutout piece that I had to make my own background. So there's my
Very pretty.
cards.
Very pretty. Well done.
And again, I'm going to bring it up
Oh,
high.
sorry, I just removed it.
That's okay. That's all right. I'll put them they'll be in the Facebook group. So if you are part of our group, you will get the still shot. That I will add that it's not tonight, tomorrow morning.
Okay. Well done. Well, that was an awesome card. So now it's
So
my
thank you.
turn. So,
And now it's your turn. I'm going to
um,
take my phone off here because
all
I can
good.
hear myself.
So I decided to use the Enduring Beauty, and Rose talked about the mask and showed you how she has created that gorgeous snowflake. So I wanted to, you know me, I love flowers. So I wanted to show you a gorgeous flower. And I've been doing so many Christmas cards lately that I thought, you know what, let's change it back and let's get back into some nice floral cards. So I'm going to show you how to use the blending brushes with the mask. Now, I've got a combination of colors here that I've got Lost Lagoon, I've got Berry Burst, and white. Now, I've just got our template here to show you. I've cut for the basic foundations of card making group. I've cut my basic card base. I've also cut two of the black contrast layer. I've done one in Berry Burst, one in basic white. The basic white's going to be for my insert. And then I've done a Berry Burst layer, which is going to layer up, funnily enough, on my Berry Burst layer here. So the two templates that you will need is the black and the Berry Burst. So as we said before, if you want to get in on this action, and this is a whole pile of our templates that we have. So you get access to these template guides. Every month we pop it in our group, so you get access to it all the time. I've got it in just a die case that I can pop my templates back in, and every time I go to create a card, I can pop out my templates and work out the layers that I want to use. So even if I wanted to do a smaller layer on there with that white, I could actually use another layer down and I can get a larger border. So that's the reason why we use these templates, is so that when you're actually designing a card, you can grab out your templates and work out what size layers. And the beauty of it is we've got it printed on the back what the sizes are. So you've only got to flip it over and you know exactly what size to cut your cardstock. It takes the guessing game out of card making. And I nearly put my layer that I've cut back in my template thing. All right, so um, first of all, I'm just going to fold my card base and then we will get into doing the blending because I want to get the card base. And this is something that I do to make sure I know what layer is what when I'm creating cards. And I don't know where my bone folder is. So because I don't know where my bone folder is, I'm just going to use a clear block to score my card. So sometimes if you can't find your bone folder, as long as you've got something with a solid edge that you can score your burnish your card, it will make all the difference. I like to fold that card base up and put my insert inside so I know that it's there and ready to go when I actually go to stamp on the insert. So I don't get confused of what my front layer is compared to my insert layer.
And
And I,
Donna,
yeah,
sorry, I just wanted to say, and I love the fact that when we're doing these, like you just gave them a little trick,
yep.
with using the block, and if you don't have your bone folder. And I love that about this group and doing these videos, because even though we know those things, we tend to forget them. And that's what this basics of card making class is all about. There's a lot of things you may know, but you may have forgotten. And we bring that all back to life.
And I'm also going to pop my layer up on the front there, the contrast layer. So this is the ultimate layer that we want to be using. So I'm actually going to stamp that with the floral stamp to start off with, which I've already got it mounted on a block here. Now, one of the tricks that I do when I'm actually going to do any type of coloring with a lined image, whether it's blending, whether it's using our blends, I always like to use a basic gray instead of the black. Now, this is personal choice. Everyone says to me every time I do it, why are you using basic gray? I use basic gray because although it's a dark color, it's not as dark as what our black memento is. And I get myself into a lot of trouble with black memento. I physically end up with it absolutely everywhere. So I tend to use my basic gray. And as I said, personal choice. So don't think that just because I'm doing it, that's the golden rule. I mean, there's no rules really with stamping. You just do what works best for you. So I've now stamped my image, and as you can see, basic gray nearly looks black anyway. But I just feel like it's a softer, not so harsh color. And especially if I was going to be blending and using lighter colors, I would probably even go the smoky slate, like, and use smoky slate as my lined image as well, just so that the lines aren't so harsh. Okay. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, I thought I had some washi tape here, but I don't. I'm going to make a line where this layer is going to be. So I'm going to go around the corner here and around the corner here, because it's really important that this layer doesn't move and that our masks don't move. Now, our masks have numbers on them. So I'm going to try and bring that up. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see it, but there's oh, you can just see it. There's a number 1, a number 2. They're right up here where that little V shape is. Now, what I do with this is line up. Now, it's going to be up the other way. So I'm going to have them up this way, but I line that up on my flower where it's going to sit really nicely on the flower. Then what I do is I mark this. Can you see that? Yes, I am on screen. I
Yep, I
mark
can
where
see it.
that V is. I mark this corner. I mark that corner. And I mark this corner. Now, you can physically, if you wanted to, I have seen people that have glued these marks, like have used washi tape and glued them so that you can flip them out and flip the next one down. That's a little bit too complicated, especially when you're learning and just starting out. So I tend to just do that. Now, every one that I'm going to bring out, I'm going to line up with those corners. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Pretty in Pink, because as you can see, this is the full flower section. So I'm going to use Pretty in Pink to color that. So I'm going to, sorry, pick up some ink. I'm then going to get the excess off here. It's always handy to get the excess off before you start. And then I'm actually going to blend. So this is just getting some color on the large part of our flowers. And one of the things that I say to people too with blending is really take your time blending. Take the time to re-ink, get some more ink into your blending brush, go over again, do it lightly, like with a light hand. I know a lot of people try to scrub really hard. Scrubbing really hard is not really the thing that you need to do. You just need to do the continuous circle motions and taking your time. And it's a little bit like the more time you take, the nicer the blending is, because you're using a soft hand and it's just adding layers and layers of colors. So now the magic is when I remove that, we have our flowers blended with our Pretty in Pink. Now the next one that I'm going to take, I'm going to line up my notch. I'm going to make sure my paper hasn't moved. It hasn't moved. I should have just stuck a bit of Seal Plus underneath it. Okay, so I'm going to line up that. So once again, lining it up with my corners where I've done it. Now I'm going to take Lost Lagoon, and I'm actually going to do my leaves in Lost Lagoon. Let me grab another. And I always use, depending on what coloring you're using, I use a different blending brush for each color that I need to do. So if I've got greens, I use greens. A brush that's I don't know about you, Rose. I don't wash my blending brushes. A lot of people
No, I
say
don't either.
no. A lot of people say they wash them. I'm like, oh no, I don't wash them because it keeps
No.
the color in them, and it's nice. You get a nicer blending process when you don't wash them. So
Yeah, I don't wash them, and I don't have a blending brush for every color either. Like you said, I have one for
the
greens and
greens, yeah,
darker greens, and maybe I have
yeah,
a light one for a lighter green. But if
yeah.
you're using, say, garden green, you can just wipe that blending brush, keep
And really,
on
just
white
even
paper,
I was
get
going
it
to say,
off.
even on your paper, just blend and blend
Right.
and blend until you can't see any more
And
color.
then I can, right.
Yeah,
And then you can reuse it with old olive.
yeah. Okay, so we now have some gorgeous leaves. So
Gorgeous.
you can see this coming together. Now our next one, which is our number 3 mask, that one hasn't moved. No, it's all good. I'm going to lay that over the top. This is going to be, you can see here, a detailed piece of my flower. Um, I'm going to now do that. I'm going to change it up and I'm going to do it in Berry Burst. And I've got a little tiny one here. So as you can see, I used a lighter brush for my Pretty in Pink, but now I've got Berry Burst, which is quite a strong color. So I've got a darker one for my stronger color. Okay, I'm going to open that up. And also too, as you can see, I've got my excess up here away from my pink. Don't, when you're getting your excess off, go over the top of somewhere where you've blended with a different color either. That's one tip to really make sure that you do. So I'm going to use over here now to get the excess off. Because if you use something here, if I did that in the green, then I'd end up with green in my brush. And this is where it starts to really come alive when you add these extra colors. And look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And now number 4 is going to be some more detailed pieces in my leaves again. So I'm going to add that over the top. We've got a few sets of these masks in our catalog now and in our online exclusives and things. And honestly, they are so nice to be able to get such a gorgeous colored look with so much detail, which is really, really nice. Now I'm using the Lost Lagoon again here on Lost Lagoon. So I'm not changing up the colors. I'm not getting a darker color, but you're going to see that this is going to add more like a deeper tone of the Lost Lagoon on the leaves. Wow, I've gone quiet. I'm in deep concentration here.
It's coming out beautiful.
It is,
That is actually one of my favorite sets
yeah.
too. And I love using the masks. They were a little intimidating. So the first time I think I tried using the
I
masks, they
think
were a little
was it called
intimidating.
Layers of Beauty was the first one that we had? Was it that one?
It might have been.
I think it might have
And
been the first floral one we had. I know we had some tree ones and things, but I think the Layers
yeah, we
of
had the
Beauty, which
trees.
was another flower very similar to this, but it
But
was,
I was very intimidated when I first started. So
look
see,
at that.
25 years into stamping and I still get intimidated. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it.
Okay, so now we've got this piece here on the center. So I'm actually going to change up. I didn't have this out, but I'm actually going to change up and I'm going to grab a color like I think I'm going to do pecan pie just for the centers, just to add a little bit of something else. Now let me grab
Oh, I think
another
that'll look
blending
good.
brush. Okay, so pecan pie, and this is going to do those what are they called? The stamens or whatever they're called on the inside part.
Yeah, I think that's the correct word. I just say the inside of the flower.
The little prongy things in the
The
flower. Or just
little inside of the flower.
that's technical terms, the prongy
Yeah.
things in the flower.
Or the little thingies. The little thingies in the flower. There you go.
Someone could probably tell us the more technical name, someone that really knows their flowers, but I'm
Yeah,
not a
that
huge
that
flower.
wouldn't be me. I kill them. I kill
I was
plants
going to
and
say I
stuff.
love flower stamps, but I'm not really into the flowers in my garden. I
No, I can't keep them alive.
was going to say that involves work. And so now when I take that off, there we go.
Oh
Now,
yeah, it came out really
so we
nice.
have a gorgeous colored image by using those blending brushes and the mask. So it makes it really, really easy to be able to have like a gorgeous colored image like that. You're not sitting there with blends. So for the people that struggle with blends, like and feel like they're not using their blends really well or they're not happy with the outcome, these type of sets with the masks are definitely the way to go because absolutely anyone can do them. And you just have to do that sequence of making sure that you have your piece that's not going to move, what you're putting it on, having your scrap piece of paper down, drawing the line around, and making sure that you put your mask in the same spot every single time. So and by doing that process, you get a gorgeous card like that. Now, I'm actually going to adhere that together. Then I'm going to stamp a sentiment on a scrap piece of basic white. Now, Rose uses, and I'm trying to use some glue that doesn't want to work. Let me see if I get another one that will work. Yeah, that one's going to work. So I like to use Tombow, my liquid glue. And the reason why I like to use Tombow is it gives me the wiggle room. So I'm really, and I'll be the first one to admit it, I'm not good at layering things up if I get one chance at it. Okay. So I like to be able to use my liquid glue that I can wiggle it around. Can you see? I can wiggle it into place, get it to sit exactly where I want it to be, and press it down. So that is the reason why I use liquid glue. When I go to use dimensionals and I pop things up, that's when I have to try and line it up. And I do have a tip like for that, and I'm going to talk to you about that as well. Now, I'm going to grab this. I had a strip out for my sentiment, and in all of my flurry, Lord knows where I put it. But anyway,
Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one that has
I was
that
going to say I'll
problem.
just grab another strip because I have heaps of them
There
here.
you go.
So yeah. All right, so I'm actually going to say thank you. You mean so much to me. Um, you mean so much. Where's the thank you? Oh, am I wrong? I thought there was a thank you. No, I'm just going to use you mean so much to me. I thought it had thank you on the top, but it doesn't. Okay. And I'm rubbing a block over here that I already have something on, but I'll just pull that off. All right, so I'm going to ink that up in my berry burst. Now, also, when you are using a photopolymer stamp set, the golden rule is to use a pierce mat. But I think my pierce mat has pushed to the back of, yes, it has. It's pushed to the back of my desk underneath my desk, so I can't grab it. So I'm just going to wing it and not have one. So do as I say, not as I do. So there we go. And the reason why we use a pierce mat when we are stamping with photopolymer is to make sure that we get a good crisp image. My desk is really good and flat and solid because I've got my glass mat under it. So I tend to not actually use it as much because I do stamp on my glass mat. Okay, so now I'm actually just going to pop that. So I've angled that and I'm just going to pop it up down here on the bottom on some dimensionals. So just down there. I'm going to pop that up. And I'm going to cheat a little bit for the inside. I'm going to use that stamp again, but then I'm just going to roughly blend some color onto the flower. I'm just going to add a flower in the corner of my insert. So I'll show you a different way instead of having, instead of using the mask, then you can actually just, if you're not too particular about having things within the lines, which it doesn't bother me when I'm stamping and creating. But if you, and that's that, take your pick trip that Rose taught us. I did it, Rose. I had my take a pick
I
tool.
see that. Do you know, and
Now,
I might have mentioned this before when I was in Raleigh, when I was on stage, and I mentioned that
oh,
trick.
I know. And people were like, oh, wow. Yeah.
I had staff members in the back going, "Oh my God, we never knew that. Oh my
Yeah.
God, we never thought of that." And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
works."
Exactly.
And I always think of you when I do that now.
And we always learn from each other. So normally what I do
Absolutely.
is when I'm actually going to line something up, because I've got dimensionals and I've got one go at this, I stick my two pointer fingers in underneath my layer. And what I do is I line up that top and both the sides with an even border all the way around, holding my fingers underneath so it's holding it up off the card base. Then I push down with my thumbs and pull my fingers out. And that's actually
Great
how I
tip.
get that nice and straight. So it took me a lot of years to work out how to do that. So see, all these things that we're teaching you, it took me years to work that out. Okay, so I'm going to use the large stamp again for the insert. And I'm a little bit like Rose. I'm not actually going to put any wording on the inside of this one. I'm actually just going to stamp that flower up. And one of the things with stamping, a lot of people try to think that they've got to keep the stamp all within their layer of cardstock. What makes a card so much better is if you actually stamp off and have it coming off the edge of your cardstock. So I'm actually going to stamp down there in that corner. And we've got some flowers. I'm then
I
going to
actually love the gray. I
Yeah,
like
I
you. I like,
I
yeah.
always do basic gray when I'm coloring. Okay, now I'm not actually going to ink up these again. I'm going to take what I've already got and I'm going to add a little bit of pink in my flowers. So I'm roughly just going over where those flowers are. I'm going to add a little bit of the darker pink in the middle of the flowers, like so. I'm then going to grab my Lost Lagoon, add a bit of Lost Lagoon in the leaves. And that is actually all I'm going to do. But you can see you've got a softer, more pastel look there by actually just using your blending brushes as well. But it brings a little bit of the front to the inside of the card, and I always like to do that. And then I'm just going to glue that on the inside. Oh wow, my glue, honestly, I think I've got 3 containers of glue here and they're all like nearly out. And I keep, you know how they've got that little bit still left in them, so you keep using it
Uh-huh.
and using it. But now none of them want to work.
Because we don't want to waste not a drop of
No,
it.
because it'll see, it keeps coming out. Like, see, you can't throw that out. There's still lots of glue left in there. And I do have them stored upside down, but sometimes you have to do that real flick with your wrist to get that glue to come down. So I've got that there like that. Now I'm going to take these gems, and these gems are the ones that come from the Delicate Pines bundle, the suite that I've been using. And I thought that these Pretty Peacock ones would look really, really nice on here and really bring it to life. So I'm going to add a couple of those around.
I think right now those are probably my favorite gems.
Oh,
I've
I
been
love
using
them.
those
I
a lot too.
absolutely
Yeah.
love them. Yeah.
And I think, people might think, well, they say snowflakes, I think, on them, don't they?
Well, I don't actually even, I mean, when you look closely, they do look like snowflakes, but I don't
But
actually think that they look it. Like
no,
when
and that's what I'm saying. You can't go by the name because it might say snowflake gems or whatever they're called.
exactly
Frosted snowflakes, I think they're called. But I've been using the silver ones on all my cards lately.
faceted snowflakes.
Yeah.
There we go. And then I'm just going to, with my Wink of Stella, add some shimmer and shine.
Oh my God. I was just going to tell you that not the card that I actually did just now, for my card, but the second one that I showed. I did that trick with the Wink of Stella. You couldn't see it, but I was like, okay, I'm going to try
So the
instead
spritzing
of
with the Wink of
coloring it.
Stella. Look at the
I
shimmer
did it
and
with the Wink of
shine that
Stella.
you get on that card. Look at that. See, it's
That's my
just
new
gorgeous.
favorite thing.
And I actually said, I had a friend of mine and she said to me, I never used Wink of Stella until you showed me how you spritz everything with Wink of Stella. And she said, and ever since then, I have been spritzing absolutely everything I do. So,
I'm not as
uh,
good at it as you are, but
and actually, to tell you the truth, I think I spritz everything I do. I think that there is not a single card that I don't use
I'm
my
trying
Wink
to
of
do it right
Stella.
now.
I'm trying to spotlight you, Rose, and I can't. Because we don't have your phone in here anymore. We've got to have 3 participants to spotlight you.
That's okay. I took it off because I could hear myself talking in it.
Yeah. I can't. I'm afraid. I'm sorry, but I can't
Oh
spotlight.
no, that's okay. They can
Maybe if I
hear me. I'm
remove
sure.
spotlight from me. There we go. We both arrive. If I remove the spotlight, we're both there because it's the two of us here. Um,
Okay.
so I hope you really enjoyed those two cards that we have showed you today. And as I said, if you're interested in joining, it's $50 for me here in the US, and it's how much for you in, sorry,
35
$50 for
30.
me here in Australia.
No, it's 35 for the US and 50 for Australia.
I don't even know why I said for us here in the US, like I live in the US. I wish I lived in the US, but I don't. But anyway, yeah.
And see, people in the US would say, "Oh, I wish I lived in Australia."
And you know what? It's just because I want to hang out with all my US friends. That's
There you
why.
go. And
But
we want to hang out with you. We'll all have to come to Australia. That's all.
yeah, we need an incentive trip to Australia.
Oh God, I
Just
would
saying.
love that.
Just
I
saying,
would
they'll
love
never
that.
do it. They'll never do it because there's nowhere, and it would cost them so much money to send everyone to
Uh,
Australia. But anyway, they've only got a little handful of us that they have to send to the US, so it's easier to go for us to go the other way. Well, it's not
I would
easier.
still
I
like.
mean, but
I
anyway.
would still like to go to Australia.
Yeah. So thank you very much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. We had like about 20 something people on watching us, so that was awesome. We're going to say goodbye to YouTube land. Is there anything else you'd like to say to anyone, Rose, before we
Thank you
stop?
so much for tuning in. And if you're in Australia, it's Friday, so have a great weekend. And if you're in the US, sorry, you still have to deal with Friday. So we'll
We
we'll
already know what's happening.
yeah, exactly. I was going to talk to you about that. Um, so thank you all for joining us. And again, if you'd like more information on the basics of card making, contact either Donna or I, and we would love to have you join us.
So thanks everyone, and we will say